Oh. Good afternoon. Welcome to I Love Stocks. We're going to give it a little bit more time and we'll get in here and start our little session. Hope everybody's having a good day. And can you all hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Where's my little library at? Get you a glass of water. We're going to talk stocks. We'll give it a few more minutes. We'll get this thing going. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Sure you got you some water. Turn down my phone. One more thing to do and we're going to get started. No, that ain't the right one. Okay, welcome to I Love Stocks. We're going to talk about stocks for a couple hours. We're definitely in a bullish run. I'm feeling good about the rest of the year. I think the market already knows who's going to be president. That's a fact. I'm not going to share that with you, but I know who I think will win. So I expect a pretty good bullish run for the next 4 years. At least. We're going to have a new economy, a new everything. So just something to kind of, especially if you're young. I've been through 3 of these, I think, in my lifetime. The Depression, or the Great Recession back during the Carter years. And then we had the transfer to Reagan. We had a booming economy. Then we had the dot-com era, which was really a big boost to the economy. And now we have this corona thing, which I think will change the economy again. So I'm kind of looking forward to the next 5 to 10 years on how this world's going to change and how people are going to be able to work from home and be more of a freelance business person, maybe a gig economy. So if you're bright and you've got a lot of good talent, try to use that talent in the next 5 to 10 years. You might be surprised. But I think we're getting ready to go through that 3rd cycle in my lifetime where the economy changes. And I'm in retirement, or pretty much going to be in retirement in a couple of years. So I'm going to be excited about that. So market's been very bullish, as you can tell. I'm going to pull up the Dow here. Let me pull up a watch list. Should probably have this already up. Give me a second here. There we go. Dow Jones closed at 161.60 Friday, and the SPY still climbing up, still looking good. So the way we closed Friday was very, I thought, very soothing and warming coming into the next week. So I think we're going to have a bullish week next week. We are overextended on a lot of stocks, but the 2 basic ones I'm going to be watching, and I think you know which ones they're going to be. Let me get up another watch list. We're going to create a watch list today too. So I'm going to start that right now. And when we start that, there we go, here, create a watch list. We're going to call it 8/29 watch. And then the first one I want to talk about is going to be, and we're going to do a video on this tomorrow, Vegas and I. It's going to be Tesla. So we're going to add that to our list right now. And I always preach about having your own creative watch list of your own, So I'm starting one. I start one every week. I've done it for 15 years. Start a fresh watch list every week. And then I take the ones that I liked last week that I think are going to be runners, and I add them to the watch list. And I always say the watch list is one of the most important things that you need when you're in a trade. A lot of people, they just kind of go into trades blindly. Someone just spits out a call. Oh yeah, this thing's going to run. It's going to go to $20, and it's a $3 stock. You got to kind of think, hey, this guy's pumping this stock. But if he has statistics, technical analysis behind it, and in the news and other strategies behind the trade, then you can believe them. But if someone just tells you to jump into something blindly, don't do it. Do your own homework. I always preach that. So let's pull up. I'm going to work with 2 charts today. And always please subscribe, ring that bell for future updates, and you'll get our, notifications when a new video comes on. Oh, you got a request? Okay, we'll do CAT and HD after I do Tesla here, okay? So I'm going to be using 2 different charts. This is a TTM squeeze chart that I use. with different moving averages on them. They have the 200, the 100, the 34, and the 9 EMA. And I also use another chart that, let me see if I can find that over here. And I use this. This is the chart that I first started out with when I traded. I had the RSI and I had the two moving averages that I worked off of. And one thing about Wall Street and the market, you can trade it any way you want. You can filter out many ways to trade the market. There's so many opportunities, so many blessings. You could sit here and trade it for the first hour. You know, you could do that. What I do, sit here all day long. You know, you come in at pre-market and just trade before you go to work. You come in after hours and trade the market, set up for the next day. So, I mean, you could trade an hour a day, all the way from, you know, opening bell to whenever it closes at 8 Eastern time. And I always say after hours is a little bit more tougher because the volume's not there and the consistency's not there in the daytime. But we're going to go ahead and talk about Tesla right now. Where's my watch list? What did I do with it? And then we'll talk about them other two. Heck, there you are. So we're going to take this one off. And then the other chart that I'm going to use is one that I talk about a lot. It's my Fibonacci auto setup chart. Fibonacci auto setup, where the Fibonacci's are already set here, and I can change it to like different time frames, and I can still use the same fibs, but they're different. Every time frame is different. You see what I'm saying? So if I wanted to go like just into a daily time frame, that's how I would look at the fibs in the daily. And I use them. You know, I rely more on my extended trend line pattern, and that's what I'm here to teach you about today. But this one, like I said, the extended trend lines, and this also has my EMAs on here. So let's go ahead and talk about Tesla. We're going to have the split come Monday. Let's change this to I cleared it up so we can start fresh. You know, this ain't going to matter come Monday, but what I'm expecting Monday or next week is a 30% gain on whatever it opens up at on Monday morning. So I'm looking for a 30% long gain, or it could happen that same day because it's going to be cheap for the retail traders, and they're going to be wanting to get into this trade. So I got out of all my positions, and I'm going to wait for Monday to get back into the trade, and I'll be posting it live on. I'll be posting it on StockTwits, my idea, and also be posting it into the room where I think we're going to be going. But we're getting ready to have a 5-to-1 stock split. So this should be around $600, 400 maybe, a little under that. And when that thing opens up, I'm going to be jumping in it, and I'm going to take that right up, and I'm going to scalp it for the first day, and maybe hold a couple extra contracts for later on. But I'm definitely going to be scalping the trade on Monday, and then I'm going to. And the way I trade is I got to kind of get a response from the market and from other traders, and that'll continue my thought pattern as I go into next week. So keep a good eye on Tesla, same as Apple. They're both going to be splitting Monday, and they're going to be very fun to watch. And all eyes, I'm telling you, all eyes will be on these two trades. So let's go ahead and talk about these two that Jeff has up here. We're going to look. Uh-oh, got a phone call. Give me a second. Hold on a second. Give me just 1 second here. Okay, I'm back. So let's talk about them two trades that Jeff wants to talk about here. We're going to look at CAT first. So let's add cat to our watch list. Start out a little rusty every day, it seems like. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Cat. We're going to clear this up. First thing I want to do is clear all this mumble jumble out of here and start fresh. We're looking at the yearly chart. We've had a nice run. It's been consistent and it's held support all the way. How can I tell? First thing I spotted was on the yearly chart. That's the first chart I go to. So we go down here and we're going to draw where this first dip was, right in here. That's where we're going to draw that trend line. We're going to extend it all the way out to the right. So it's definitely held higher than these coming back and pulling back to this trend, which is very impressive to me. Now if I run this from here up to here, extend it on out. Whoop, no. See how consistent it is from this first candle down here, following that there flow all the way up to that trend line, and how that's telling you that we're still bullish and that it could pull back to this trend line and break that resistance level. But cat's very bullish, and we're almost back to the 50 1-year high up here. I mean, we're $7 shy from that 1-year high. So, and we notice the higher lows are starting to level out a little bit right here. So I think we're going to have a little pullback on it. Now we're consistent. We could look at the two moving averages, which I would say that 129.57, this one right here, that 200 EMA, would be a good support level. But I want to verify it. So I want to look for a pivot point. And where I see this pivot point on this chart right now is right in here. You see this where we pulled back right here and where we kind of bounced up right there, where we bounced up right here. To me, that is a pivot point area on the yearly chart. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to draw that line. That's going to be my first indication where a pullback could be. And it runs right into that 200 as you noticed. So there's a double confirmation that we could get a slam on it and it could pull back to that part right there. So we're going to look for more places of resistance, which lies above the pivot point on that chart, which will become supports for the pullback. So we're going to look for levels of consolidation. One's right here. I see this spot right here. So I'm just going to kind of run it down the line and see if we have kind of a matchup. We have it right in here. It's consistent right in here. It's consistent right in here. You see where that bottom of that is, or the candles? And I'm talking about the body of the candles. The body of the candle is where all the mustard is. So I always rely on the body of the candle, and the wick is a gift or an opportunity. And always when you have the wick on the downside of the candle, you could expect, a pullback or a bullish run. Something like this right here. You see where you have them line up there? They're just kind of bouncing off each other. So they're creating a support level. So let's go back to this very beginning here. And we're going to draw that. We drew that trend line right in there, and we're going to come up here and draw this other one that I was looking at right there. And then we've got another one right here we're going to put in, because I see this where this top of the body of the candles are. And we're going to go up here. We have a consistent resistance level right up here. I'm going to kind of equilibrium it out. And then we're going to have, and then I'm going to break it down to a lower support. You see where we double topped here? I'm bullish on CAT. I was a lot more bullish on CAT when it was under 130. So I'm expecting a pullback. If we break up higher, it would be a blessing But for right now, I think we're setting up for a little pullback. Maybe to this one area right in here, right at that 140.54. Now let's pull this up to a 20-day chart. And let's see if we can fine tune it any. Now when you pull it up to a 20, you see other places of consolidation. And that could be, one of them could be right here. I'm looking at this gap in here. And I'm going to try to follow it down. And I'm trying to see if it matches up with a lot of resistance levels that we had. And it matches up pretty good. But I want to bring it down just equilibrium of it right about there. See, I'm looking, well, there we go. Get back in here again. Right there at 141.97. Now I'm looking for support levels. And I'm looking for support channels. You see how it pulled back to this thing right here? So we could have a pullback to the 137 to the bottom of this trend line. If it pulls back to that 137, you'll have a retracement back up. We failed the triple top. Now I've talked about the triple tops a lot. We did fail the triple top. Now if we don't break this triple top, come out Monday morning, right at open, you're going to have a good pullback on it. And I'm going to say your first support area is going to be right in here. I'm going to draw this trend line in here because I see this gap. Okay? So that's going to be like I would call a support channel. And I want to be consistent with this, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that, color that in. You notice it runs right into that moving average right there. And that's a simple moving average. In fact, I'm going to get another chart up here. I'm going to look at my EMAs. And my EMAs are going to be different than my SMAs. And on every different time frame, they're always different. But I'm still relying on this one support at 137.22. And as the day progresses, this line will go up higher and higher and higher. Each day, you'll go up higher and higher. So we do have a nice little ascending triangle right here. Ascending triangle. Which is just going to try to stay into this channel, 137. I like to draw these out when I'm seeing them. But you can see we've had higher lows, and we had a consistent triple top up here. So if this thing fails, it can pull back to this bottom thing and maybe take it on the second round. So I'm liking CAT right now. I liked it a lot better when it was down here at 130. If it does try to knife like that, that's going to be a strong buy around 130 if it does pull back to that area. But for Monday, I'm going to be looking at different support levels, and I got one more in here I want to draw. It's going to be right there. Your first support is going to be at 143.40. That second support channel at 142 to 142.53, and then maybe a strong buy with a double bottom down here in this position right there. I'm going to go ahead and draw that channel in there. That was right in here. Then we're going to go ahead and get on to another stock here. There we are. Right there. And I like it. I like it. I like that third support area of 140.06 and 140.54 for a very strong buy. Wait for the full pullback. We failed the triple top. And that's going to be CAT. I hope that helps. I'm doing great today. How about us? How about you? Now let's look at Home Depot real fast. Home Depot. Now, Home Depot's going to be on fire. Why? The hurricane. There's a couple of reasons why I'm into the builders right now, or the suppliers too. And that's because all these riots and stuff are moving the people out of the big cities into the urban areas. People just don't are sick of the crime, so people are moving out. Real estate's booming right now. There's not enough houses to supply the boom, so the construction's going to start building. Then they got the hurricane that they got to rebuild down there, which really was devastated, and I feel very sorry for the people down there. You know, so Home Depot, I got a pivot point area on the 20-day chart at 282.97. That's going to be my little support area for it to pull back. 182.97. Why? We failed the triple top here, it pulled back, and then we finally broke out. So I kind of expect that to happen with CAT. It's going to pull back, and then it's going to go back and break that triple top and create a new high, and maybe get up to that 150 area that we had for the year. When you're bullish on a stock, you've got to become bearish at times. You can't let that dictate how you trade, because you got to think of what the skinny man is doing. And there's a lot of skinny people out there trying to short stocks, and they're not doing very well. They do great on pennies, but when you're messing with these big numbers, it's not as easy. So we got a support level right here. Let me change this. And I'm not a pro. I'm self-taught. And the best teachers I've had is people asking me questions and making it helping me out that way. That's the only way I learned. So here we got another resistance level right here, and I'm trying to line up these. I'm trying to line up these candles. See, I'm trying to line up patterns where I see that we found resistance levels, and I'm really liking this spot right in here. So we're up in here. We're trying to find resistance levels on the chart. I'm not even looking at what happened on Friday. I'm looking at what happened throughout the year. History always consistently repeats itself. So I'm always, people trade different ways. When I get a spike like I had on GEVO on Friday, GEVO, I bought it at pre-market, and right at the bell it popped up 30 some cents, and I got out of the stock. That's because of that spike. So if you wake up in the morning and you're in Home Depot and this sucker's running up real good on you, it's going to pull back a little bit. Now you can hold on to it and buy more on the dip, or you can take your profit on the high and pull and get in on the dip. There's always a pullback. It's consistent. Your pullbacks, they just constantly happen. You had a big breakout here, you had a big pullback. You had a nice little 2-day run right here, you had a pullback. Another 1-day run, you had a pullback. So, don't get caught in that thing thinking, oh, I'm going to go higher, And this market's too crazy to be trading like that. It's a very great opportunity to be trading today. So if you're into this right now, consider it a blessing. Teach your children, because the whole economy is going to change. We're going to become a financial institution, and I see the Dow at 40,000 maybe in 4 years. So I'm going to draw. I seen a little spot down in here. I wanted to draw in here too. So let's go ahead and bring this to the 1 day, 1 minute. A lot of people will use the 1 day 3 minute because you can see a little bit more of a pattern. Like right in here, we had this triple bottom right here. It did bounce up a little bit, but failed more. But I kind of like it for a position, for a support area or a resistance. And we have another one right in here. I'm looking at this big engulfing candle, and I'm just trying to find a consistency, and I see it right here, see? And I'm going with the bodies of the candles, not the wicks. Wicks don't mean crap to me right now unless I'm drawing these trend lines. But you see the consistency right here? And I'll show you where we had a little place right in here and a little place right in here. Now I can tell you one thing. If my time frames aren't suitable for you, you could use a different time frame and still come up with some of the same solutions. Whatever fits your path is the path you want to take. And I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but you learn. What I like about charts is they're consistent. And by what I mean by consistency, the only pattern I'm seeing right in here on HD is a descending pattern. You see that? And that's what this is all about. These lessons are about how to identify patterns and how to identify, ways to get in and out of a stock. But this is a descending pattern right here. Okay? By noticing this pattern, you should have realized maybe we got another couple of days of downtrend, which we did. Then we had this consistent uptrend. Now, this bottom of this line right here is going to become a very strong reference point for resistance to break, and that's at the 286, because we had a triple bottom and then we had a quad bottom, and that creates a very strong catalyst for for one of my extended trend lines for either a support or a resistance. So let's go ahead and summarize what I think, and I'm going to pull this back to the 20-day. I want to look at the 1 minute. I'm trying to find any place else in here. See where we kind of had this hump right here? So this is what I'm going to call a resistance area. And it took me 15 years to put all this stuff together. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm not that dull either. I like to learn. So we're going to draw this up in here. I don't think anybody that considers himself the sharpest tool in the shed, you might want to stay away from him. And then I got another line of resistance right here. And how I found that line of resistance was this place right in here, this consistent area right in here. You see that? That line right there? You see how we kind of run up? To me, that's a pretty good little spot of resistance level, or support, or however we want to look at it. So let's pull up that 20-day one more time and give you a final answer on HD. I know there's a lot of gibberish in here, but I like this real solid support right down here, so I'm going to change this to a red line. I'll tell you why. Oh, I got two of them in here. Let's delete one of them. Give me a second here. I'm sure this was... No? Okay. I'm going to change this to a red line. It's going to be a little support area for me. I like this area because we've had some consolidated areas in here. We had that little pullback, and we've had a lot of concentration on this line right here. And that support's going to be 284.14. And the strong buy is going to be in this channel right in here. This is a channel of support, and this is going to be my third channel. I hate it can go down here. It can drop below that channel and hit this spot right in here, as it did right down in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to color that whole thing in, and we're looking for patterns, and we're looking for consistency. Now I think this thing can pull back to this area right in here, right around 280. And that's going to be HD. But that first support's going to be 284.14. And the resistance to break, and let's bring this up to the 1 minute. And the resistance to break is going to be this channel right in here. Between, and let me magnify this up just a little bit so we can read these. No, can't read them there. Yeah, shoot. Let me see here. Go to a different time frame. There we go. So the resistance to break, and actually it could be right down here where the bodies, see where them bodies are? So I'm going to draw me another trend line right in there. I'm going to fine tune that just a little bit because that's really solid support. So we've got a 287.25 resistance to break. If we can break that 287.25, we'll go ahead and bring it on, and then the hard resistance will be 287.52 up to 287.89. And then you can go on from there, 288.25. I'm definitely bullish on this trade. So next week, if it pulls back, buy on the dip. If it breaks a resistance level of your choice, which I would probably say right around the 286.61, you'll go on up to this other resistance level. And that's going to be HD, and I hope that helped you some. Jeff, whatever you got to do, do it good. I'm glad you showed up. Ring that bell, hit that subscribe button, and get back with us later. Now, I got a new one in here. ZUO. You're welcome, Jeff. Let's look at ZUO. That's next. And then I'm going to do one thing here that I didn't do. Where's it, Doctor? What do I do with it? Okay, give me a second here. Oh no. Well, that ain't cool. Okay, let's look at Zuo and see what this is all about. First, I want to get on here, and I always like to check the floats of a stock. So the first thing I'm going to do is come up here and look at the float, because I'm interested in what kind of people are trading this stock right now. We got a 99 million float, so not going to be too many pumpers on this trade. Right now we're setting up in a flag on a yearly. Let's go ahead and pull up the chart. Now I got all these charts on here. I don't know what to do with them. That's my SMAs. We're going to pull up the year. Okay. Now we got a support level on Zuo right down here at 1138. See where they had the consistency pullbacks here and how she was pretty consistent. So we're just going to kind of try to run this on up to right in there. Up, wrong. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit thinking right about there. I'm seeing a lot of bases forming right in here on this area. More bases than what I've seen down here. So that's where I'm going to put my low support area for a pullback at 1152. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look for some other spots that are consistent for support level. And definitely one right here on the bottom of the base of this candle. We'll put one right there. And then we're going to have another one right here. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing consistencies of this. I'm seeing the wick touch up to this. So that's a pretty solid support. And I see another one right in here. I can spot them pretty fast because I've been at it for a while. And I want to kind of equilibrium it out. So I'm going to put it right there. When I say equilibrium, I'm looking at the wicks, I'm looking at the bases, and I'm trying to find a pattern that is consistent with the bodies. And that's pretty consistent right there. And I'm going to do the same thing right up in here. See how I'm seeing consistency? We've had a nice little breakout on it. So I'm looking for places of supports and resistance levels. And I'm going to keep walking up. I'm going to keep walking up. I'm going to keep walking up. Now I'm going to bring this down to a 20-day. Look how consistent that is to the right. I wasn't even looking all the way to the right. You can see how consistent it is in the 20-day channel. Now I need to add a few more. Got to add one right there, the bottom of that candle right there. And then I got to add something in here. You know, I got to equal this out. I see this one right over here. And look how consistent it is across that line. Watch when I hit this thing in here. See that? See that? You see we had lower highs here? See what happens when you have lower highs? See what happens when you have lower highs? It's telling you something. It's telling you something. The wick, yeah, it got up here to a double top, but the body did not. The body had a lower high. 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 And then look what happened. So right then and there, you should have realized to get out of the trade. And the opportunity to buy in it is a different story. So let's look at the 20-day on it. And the 20-day 1 hour chart, I used 3 different time frames. I used the 20-day, let me go from the basic 1 year daily and write these down on paper. And then I go to the 20-day 1 hour, and then I either reference off the daily 1 or 3 minute. I constantly use the 1 because I'm a scalper and I'm a swing trader, and I see things on the minute chart that a lot of people don't even take time to look at. I can tell you when a stock's getting ready to break out on a minute chart, on a minute candle, and I can tell you when a stock's going to pull back on a minute candle. But I always wait for a pattern before I get in a trade or get out of a trade. And I always know when I'm going to get in, and I always know when I want to get out before I even get into the trade. And that's something that you need to learn. You know, you need to know, at least in your heart, where you think you want to exit and where you think you want to enter. It makes a whole difference in the world. But we're always constantly looking for patterns. And this is kind of what I wanted to bring across today. Don't get into a trade until you see a pattern change. Now, look at the Zool 20-day chart. Do you see anything in here that I see? I see a descending pattern. I already pointed out the sell, that, you know, why I would exit the trade on that bigger one. But look, check this out. So I'm seeing a descending pattern, and I'm going to use the wicks this time. Well, I'm just going to keep going on down, but you know, we had a little, oh, I don't know, maybe use that right there, but we have a descending pattern right here. Okay, this is descending pattern, and we have so many bottoms down here on a 20-day. I just want to see if I see anything in here that, no, I don't see nothing that would tell me to change. And I'm always looking at candlesticks. It's good to study candlestick patterns, and we'll talk about that maybe on the next video. So solid support's going to be right down here at the 1250 area. See where we had this high up here? So I'm going to turn that into a red line. That's going to be a strong buy. But I want to check something else too that I haven't looked at yet. The next support level is going to be right here. See where we had that breakout on that candle and that pullback. So that's going to be more or less probably your third support area. And I want to turn that into red also. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's going to be my third support. And I used 3 different platforms to trade on. This is going to be my first one. I mean, you put a line right in here. See, got to be consistent with this. I like this channel right in here for a pullback. If it does pull back, your first probably a strong, maybe a first entry maybe be right around 13.19. That's where I would think it would hold to keep the trend going. Keep that trend going up. See, I'm looking at this. And I'm going to draw this line in here, and I talked about this a little bit earlier. It tells you that you're still in the trend. Okay? And it's had a pretty good steep up. But I'm going off the wicks right now. Then I'm going to extend this on out to the right. See where that hit? You see where that hit? There's another confirmation that this thing can pull back to that 1323 area. So I've had two confirmations. The third one, it's the top of a support channel. So let's color this in. I'm pretty strong that we're going to pull back to this area. And then we're going to have a retracement back up. But if it bounces back to this 1319 area, that's going to be a retracement bounce back up to break a double top at 1352 with another at 1363. So look for a small pullback to 1319. That's where I would get into the trade, and I'd just take it on from there. Maybe scalp it for 50 cents. If we break this resistance level, and let's pull this back to the 1 year one more time. So I've got this number right here at 1365. Yeah, that's perfect. See this 1365 right in here? See where that wick was right in here? So I see a lot of consistency. If we break the 1365, we'll take it up to about 14 bucks. Hard resistance up here at $15. And that's going to be ZUO. But one thing I want to check. Options. Share. I always like to look at the news. Rise 11%. A Go Cardless partnership. Yeah, I'm telling you what. Corona is changing everything. Business, the internet, work at home. Zero community impact grants, funds for relief and recovery. So they got grants. Announces date for the quarter. Price target of $14.50 on the 6th. And we haven't got, no, we haven't got there yet. Yeah, we did. Well, 15 something, yeah. But that was way before that. Yeah, I think we can get back up here to 15.11. I know what it's about now. You got to know the news of a trade. If you're not knowing what the news is, you're not in the now. And I preach about being in the now all the time. So that's it. Let me go back to the 20-day one more time. Support channel, no lower than 1279 for a strong buy. Your first entry could be right here at 1319 with a resistance to break at 1352. Long after 1365, maybe C15 for a double top. And that's Zool. Okay, next. Kirk. Where do I get that Zool at? Oh, there we go. Okay, what we got here? Do you give more weight on candlesticks and normal trading hours versus PM and after hours? Yes. I think basically in the daytime, the candlesticks are more reliable because in the after hours, you just got people getting in and out of stocks, buying and scalping, getting in and out, same as in the AM. But if I see like 3 black crows on a pullback pre-market, and I like the stock and I'm bullish on it, I might jump into it. And I'll talk about 3. I've talked about 3 black crows and 3 white crows. It's just they're engulfing candles that pull back, and you got 3 big ones. Let me see if I can find them for you. But yeah, I rely more on candlesticks during trading hours than I do pre-market and after hours, by far. But I still rely on my trend lines. My extended trend lines, always rely on them. I hope that answered your question okay. Big techs, you know. Hello, Sammy. What's next? Kirk, Manuel. Let's look at Kirk. K-I-R-K. Now, I'll tell you one thing. I can trade any ticker you give me. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. But if she pulls back to my support, I'm going to jump in the trade. Now, I talk about consistency. These trend lines go all the way back to 2017. 2017. And look how consistent they are. See that? We're going to what kind of pattern we got right here? Anybody tell me in the room right now what kind of pattern we have right here? Anybody know what kind of pattern that is? Come on. There's your answer. That's your answer right there. I'll show it to you here in a second after I type it into our watch list. Now, I draw these trend lines in here apparently for a real good reason. And this level's number 10. So I'm looking right up in here. These are 2017 trend lines. Let me think here. What am I doing? I'm having to break forward. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Had to take a second there. Let's turn this blue. Nobody's answered my question, but that's what it is. That's an ascending trend line. Or ascending, not a trend line, but a triangle. So it's more or less telling me we're going to break out pretty soon. I'm going to extend this on out to the right. I want to extend this out. Well, I can't do that. Oh, there we go. Damn, Jim. Huh. Well, I'm going to use that as a support level at 950. And look how consistent that 2017 trend line was. Run right into the base of them candles. Now, it could have some adjustments made up here, but I'm going to leave it alone. So let's go ahead and pull this up. This is Kirk. Look at that beautiful run. We've overextended on the pullback. It's almost more than a 50% retracement on the year. I'm going to go ahead and draw a trend line right in there because I like where that 50% retracement was. Right there at 703. And we got another support level right down here at 633. Another ascending triangle. In about 4 or 5 days, another breakout. See that? Bam. See where we consolidated for 5 days? And the base and these bodies kept kind of bundling up higher and higher. Bam! There it goes. This is Kirk. I got it in there. I usually would like to leave these off and erase them and try to find them again, but I'm going to just go ahead and use these extended ones. We'll go to the 1 day, 1 minute, and I'm going to draw a few more in here. Right there and right here. See where we had that top over the left? Right in here. That's pretty consistent. Then here we are with another ascending triangle. When I mean ascending triangle, I'm talking about higher lows and a consistency up here on top of a resistance. We did have a little pop after hours. Like I said, you know, people are getting in it. They think it's going to pop up higher. So we're going to draw a little resistance line right here at 779 and another support level right in here. You see where we had this little pullback right here? This consistency right in here. See that? It bounced up. Kind of created a solid line. So that's going to be another support level. Now let's go ahead and babysit this and see what we got. Strong buy down here at 718. Write that down. Strong buy at 718 with a first, probably the second support right down here at 747, and that first one right here at 760 with a resistance to break up here at 794. If we break that resistance, we definitely will go higher, and let's see where that higher will lead us to. A lot higher. So we really, I mean, this sucker breaks this resistance level right in here. And I'm thinking, oh, right in here, right around 821. You'll go up to the 200 on the 20-day. And that's going to be right in here, right around the 880 area. So you get a dollar scalp out of this pretty easily. I think the pullback low support is going to be that 720 area. So it's a strong buy at 720. Resistance to get in the trade maybe at 821, or just take, if the tape's going good on Monday morning, jump in it at 8. Resistance to break is going to be that 880. And then long up here to this line here at 952. And we have a lot of room to run on this. This is a good, okay, here's another lesson, my 5-day rule. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th day, it starts to bounce. Right here, we had 3 white soldiers, or 3 black crows. Right in here. 3 black crows. It didn't want to break this resistance level up here, so I would have never took the trade. Not until I got a bullish candle that broke this resistance at 1024. So there's your 3 black crows right there. And a lot of times, you'll get 3 white soldiers out of them 3 black crows if the stock is bullish. At the time, it was not. Actually, you know, it was. Now it's had a 5-day pullback. So I'm going to be watching this one real close. I like it. I want the resistance to break right here at the 825 area. If we go past 8, this number right in here, 821, you're going to get up. You're going to get to this next level of 880. Okay? Pretty much guarantee it. I like the trade. I like the trade. Keep a good eye on it next week. KIRK. You know, and if it does pull back, it'll pull back to this area right in here. And let's look at that on the 3-minute. Oh shit. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and draw this in. Did I not draw in the 1-minute chart? Yep, I skipped a roll right there. Skipped a beat. There we go. Right in here. I'm looking at the consistency levels. Now I'm telling you, these trend lines, when you have places of consolidation, or places that couldn't break, or things that could pull back and hit that, I mean, that, to me, is a very good solid support right there. And this all ran up, you know, into after hours. So this sucker can pull back to these previous highs right in here. I'm going to go ahead and draw this in. I like Kirk a lot. That's why I'm kind of spending a little bit more time on it. Here we go. And then we got another spot right in here. It's good to look at a chart once you're done with it and kind of go back and look at it again. You might have missed something before the previous. And right here, now see, I talk about this a lot. When a stock breaks out, it can pull back to the previous high. and I talk about this a lot in the room. When I'm looking for support levels and it breaks out from a double top, and I constantly look for that previous high, and that's right in here for a solid support. So I'm definitely going to draw that in a red line because I'm consistent, and I believe that we can pull back to that first area. I'm wanting this to pull back a little bit. See, we had a double top. See that? See that? If she pulls back to this support level at 747, you'll be in a channel of support. Channel of support. Strong buy is going to be down here on this other dip right down in here. Probably right on 724. First support, I would probably say, you know, if it does pull back to the 747, I think you'll get a retracement bounce back up to here. Then you'll have your triple top breakout on Kirk. But if it doesn't hold this support, and always wait for confirmation for the rebound. Don't jump into a trade just because I say it could pull back 747 and run back up. Look for a confirmation off a 1 minute candle. And then a 727, 724 is your second support with a strong buy right down in here. Real strong buy if you have a bad catalyst, or if it bounces off this 200-day EMA. And I talk about the 200-day on a 1 minute daily constantly because it happens so many times. These breakout stocks pull back to that 200 and bounce right back up and start to retrace. So constantly remember that. And that's the simple moving average. So I don't want to use the simple. I want to use the EMA. Let me find the EMA here. I have way too many stocks up here now. Yeah, the EMA. That's a simple too. Things ain't simple anymore. Yeah, and I love how this EMA moving average right here, this 200, falls right into this trend line at 747. So I've got 3 confirmations that this stock's going to pull back to this area. One, this previous high, my extended trend line, and now we've got the 200 EMA, which all bundling up right together. That's confirmation that we can pull back to that 746 and bounce back up to that 779 Kirk. So there's your numbers. We'll go back to the 20-day and just give one final summary on it. I think we can break the resistance level of 820, 821, and bring it on up to this hard resistance at 952. And if we get up to 952, we'll make new highs. If not, it'll pull back just a little bit to that red line at 747 and start to bounce up into this channel. That's KIRK. And the next one we're going to look at, got Kirk, a 60-plus day triangle getting ready to break. HDII, where are we? HDII. So let's add that to the watch list. Pull up the yearly. I'm going to check the news. Hypertension diagnosis, upcoming information of shareholders when it announces a resolution, blah, blah, first quarter results, fourth quarter. Yeah, it's not giving me much news. Second quarter, hypertension, available for hypertension, okay. So, not giving me too much news. I want to look at the, heck, it's not even on here. They don't even have it on FinViz. So that's another reason why I probably won't take the trade. We have kind of a wedge pennant flag, symmetrical flag. We'll get it up here to the high. And we'll get it right in here. So that is a pennant flag, or it could be a symmetrical flag. We're going to look for a little pivot point area in this flag, right there. I want to be consistent with that. I'm trying to find an equilibrium. There it is, right there. Looking for just little places where I think would be an equilibrium to this flag right here. It's been consistent off this trend line, so if it bounces back up, it could run up to the top of this trend line right here and pull on back down. Okay, we're talking about a penny stock here. We want to try to find another little spot right in here. I want to find another resistance level right up in here. I want to extend this on down to the right, and I want to extend this on to the right. I'm going to go to a 20-day, see if I missed anything. See how consistent it is? So, I mean, 20-day, you couldn't see that on a yearly. If you look at the yearly, you couldn't tell, you know, what's he looking at? But I'm looking for places of consistency. So now that I go to the 20-day, it's a lot clearer picture. We have a descending pattern right here of lower highs, and we're creeping up just a little bit of bullishness with the higher lows. I got to draw me another trend line in here. So I think we're going to pull back to this line right here, right around the 10-cent area. That needs to hold. Then you would run it up maybe to this pivot point, which was at 11.93. And if that pivot point breaks, you'll get it to the resistance levels of 13.14 and 13.99. No, I don't think this thing can run, but I do think you can play the pullbacks. If it bounces off this 10-cent area, that'll be good. Don't expect to take it to the bank unless you know something I don't know. And that's HHDI. Okay, what's next? Let me see here. Okay. Give me 1 second here. We're going to look at Square, Diana. We got HDDI. We're going to look at Square and pins. Which one do you want me to look at? You get one choice. I like pins. I like Square. We'll take a look at square. Now, can you see what square is doing? We had the upward climb. We had the upward climb, upward channel. And then all of a sudden we started consolidated sideways. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all this mumble jumble, and we're going to start fresh. We're in a diagonal pattern right now. We got higher lows, consistence of bullishness. So let's go ahead and erase this. We'll start fresh. The importance of this is to teach you how to draw up charts. Wow. Look at that. Ain't that impressive? You know, when I feel impressed sometimes, I feel like the stock's overextended. Okay, I'm going to run from the bottom of this candle right here, and I'm going to extend that on out and see what we get. I'm going to extend this to the right. Look how consistent. And then we started gaining more. I mean, now we've created an ascending triangle up here at the top, maybe an upward wedge here in the past so many days. It's got a support level right here at 133. I'll change this. So I always will use this line as it keeps going up for a support channel as we keep going on up to the right of the page as days add on. But I also want to now find some supports off this new channel. This is a new channel that were created. We had that huge gap up. When we have gaps ups like that, expect a small pullback. Look where it pulled back to. Right to the beginning of that gap. See that? So maybe if I started seeing this descending pattern on these 3 days, I would have shorted it to this previous high at 137. You see what I'm saying? We got a resistance level right in here. I'm going to magnify this up. I'm going to draw a trend line right in here. I'm going to buy, I like this spot right in here, but I also like this up here too. So I'm going to draw one right there. Try to get an equilibrium of these 3 candles right in here. We have a spinning top right here. Look what happened on that spinning top. We got another little spot right in here, and another one right down there, and then another one right in here. And we're going to pull this up to the 20-day. Look how consistent we are. Just off using a daily body of a candle. These aren't dailies. These are hours. But the daily body of a daily candle can tell you a lot. Tell you how the next trade can go the next day. So study them candlesticks. And then we got another little support level right here. Strong buy down here. I want to draw that in red. Why? Because we couldn't break. We pulled back right there. We pulled back right there. Then we just couldn't break. And then when we finally did find some resistance level, we couldn't break it. Same right in here. That's a strong buy. Okay? 144.27. But right now the pattern is bullish. But we are finding a little top here. So I'm going to draw that in. I'm going to go right, I could probably actually go down from down here and run it right there and extend it on out to the right. And I got it off this candle and this first pullback. 151.12. Look where it runs right into, that 200 EMA. Pretty consistent. So what I want to do is I want to look and see if I missed something down here, and I did. So I'm going to draw me another trend line. I'm finding supports. I'm finding places of consolidation, where they're packing out. See, we had lower highs here. You would almost think that it was a descending pattern. but we're in square, and I'm bullish. Square is a Corona play, and the trend was constantly up since we had that crash, the Corona crash. So we've got a little sending triangle right here. Right about there. This is SQ. Whoop, wrong color. So I think we're getting ready to break out again. Strong support, strong buy is going to be right down here at 150-140. With your second, probably your first support right down here at the 150. What is this? I'm trying to think of what number that. Yeah, 154.05. Your first support, and then maybe a strong buy right down here at 151, somewhere in that area. If that doesn't hold, it's because people are they're having a bad week or something, and they're going to be a strong buy at 144.29. Draw them three numbers down, but I think we'll bounce off this 151 area, and then break resistance at 158.42. And then if we break that and we break this 160.46, we'll go higher. But I think we're in a place now where it's going to consolidate to the right. We could have another week in this channel, okay, between 151 and 160. That's what we want to look for, and that's going to be square. I'll tell you how I evaluate Piton here in a minute. Let me see what much it's helping me. Take a look at Facebook. We'll take a look at Facebook. For those who are not near, okay. Let's take a look at Facebook next. Where's my Facebook? Oh no. Computer's acting strange today. I can't find my watch list now. And how are you? How'd you get over here? Okay, what was I looking at again? I looked at square. And the next one is going to be Facebook. And let's look at Facebook. Okay, time for a drink of water. Okay, let's go ahead and erase this. Clear it up. Had a nice run on Facebook. We are bullish in the room on Facebook. It's a heck of a trade last week. So we got to look for a pullback. And you know what I like? I've talked about this in that last stock. 283.80. I like that a lot. And we're going to just go on a couple more up here. And resistance to break right there. And maybe at the bottom of that candle right there. And that wick. You get that wick. Let's go to the 20-day. Okay. We got an ascending triangle right here. So that's going to be my low support to hold. Strong buy right there. First support's going to be this two. Let's just finalize this on a daily 1 minute. Yeah, see, I can't skip that. Kind of hard to determine, but I've seen this wick right here. Body of that candle, we're into that wick, so that's pretty solid resistance level. Had a pretty good sell-off on that. So let's see what we got here on the 20-day one more time. Okay, strong buy at 283.80. I think it'll hold support at 291.73. If it doesn't hold that support, now listen to this very closely. If this 291.69 does not hold, you have your second and third support. I see it definitely staying at 283.60 or 283.80 and not going any lower. I want to see it hold this horizontal line on this ascending triangle. So that's a solid buy at 283.80. Your second support is going to be 287.41, and that first one is going to be right here at 291.62. The resistance to break. We got to try to find consistency. Hard resistance channel first. We got to break this level at 294.56. You see? We tried to do it once, tried to do it twice. It failed. Triple top failed, pulled back to a double bottom. See the double bottom? This is on a daily 1 minute. And I always talk about these in the room. Double bottoms, I love them. But I would have been a little bit nervous on this one until I found a confirmation. Because of the bodies, you know, they were down here, so, you know. But it kind of telling me after this candle came in that we were going to have a breakout because the body of that candle is above the two bodies of these. So more or less, if I was watching this trade and I seen this happen, I would have probably jumped in it and scalped it to the 200. It's constantly using this 200 EMA as a reference tool for a support or a resistance level when I'm scalping, or even when I'm going long on a yearly, daily. But so that's where I use the 200 the most, is on the yearly, daily, and on the daily 1 minute. It has to be the daily 1 minute in my book. A 3 minute will give you a whole different time frame. Let me show you. Whole different consistency. See, now we're under that 200 on the 3 minute. This is what I was talking about earlier. You don't have to use the 1 minute. You can learn to trade with the 3 minute. But I just find the 1 minute more consistent the way I trade. And it's not doing much for me in here. But if I go to the 1 minute, I can use this a few times. Bouncing off here is a resistance level, buying off support. You know, it just depends on the patterns. It doesn't work constantly, but when you have nice breakout stocks, it works a lot better. This is not too much of a breakout stock to me, but I mean it is. We had the breakout first thing in the morning, then we had the hard sell-off. And this has been a good one to watch, to learn from, and wait for that, you know, after we hit that double bottom down here. That would have been a pretty consistent little trade right there. But I'm always looking at them moving averages too, along with my trend lines. So that's Facebook. We're really going to call it out one more time here. Strong buy at 283.66. Hold support right here at 291.69. And break resistance right around the I'd say right around in here, right around the 294.56 area. And then get back up to these higher highs, maybe a long of 300. And that's going to be Facebook. We're bullish on Facebook. Small pullback, get in the trade. All right, Sammy, what you got there? KR. Give me one or two, KR or Intel. I'm starting to get bullish on INTC. I mentioned it in the room Friday. I haven't been that bullish on it. Been probably a good time for the smart traders to be buying on these dips, and they have. We've had a few that are in pretty deep. We did break a resistance level on Friday, and we are climbing with higher lows. Intel, I think, is going to bounce a lot higher. Let's look at the yearly chart and see what I see. Yeah, I mean, this thing's so oversold. But it has a few issues. Intel has a few issues. They're behind the times right now, kind of like the way IBM became. You know, IBM was a great stock at one time, and then it just lacked. It didn't jump when times were changing. And the same thing with Intel. They're not keeping up with the chips. They're actually probably 2 years behind AMD. So I'm looking at AMD to take the marketplace, definitely, and it already has. I mean, it's double the price. I mean, it's higher than Intel. It's whooping up on IBM, NVIDIA. I mean, it's doing well. So I expect AMD to go up a lot higher. And actually, I'm going to pull up AMD chart in a second. But let's go ahead and clear this up. Or I can get a better picture of it. We got a hard resistance right here, okay? 52.12. We've had consistent higher lows since the dip. See what I'm saying? And there's a reason why it dipped. One reason because of Corona. The next reason because of bad earnings and AMD's taking their market share because they're behind times. And I think they know that, and I think they're starting to improve on that. But we have a little support channel right in here. We have another one right in here. Resistance levels. Right there. And right there. And solid support right down in here. But we got a resistance to break. And that could be this resistance right in here where we had this pullback at that 5104 area. So let's pull this up to the 20-day. I think you're in the right time. A year out, this stock will be a lot higher, no doubt. We had a double top right here that we had to break, and we have a low support right down here at 49.79. And I got to find one more, and see where we had this over in here. I see this right in here. I'm going to kind of level it out. There we go. Pretty much almost at 200. And then a real strong buy down here at 49.26. See that? 49.26. We got a resistance to break. We did that Friday. We actually went up higher, 50.80. So I think we'll double top that 50.80. And if we get on that 50.80, we'll break on up to the new highs and hit that 52 real hard resistance at 52.12. I would consider maybe scaling out if it doesn't break that 52.12 and look for support areas between the 5104 and the 52.12. Once it brings itself on up. But I'm sure we're going to break this 50.80 next week. I feel confident for the first time in INTC since it crashed. The next one we're going to talk about, do you mind checking out? Okay, we got Intel. Oh boy, it's always two at a time, man. I can only take one. Piton. Remember, one ticker a person until I get done. Then we have a bonus round maybe, but I got a 2-hour time frame and we got a half-hour left. So here's Piton. How do I know to get into it? How do I know or where do I know the next resistance levels is on a trade? Me, it's hard. It's hard for me to do. I usually go in 50 and dollar intervals up. I'm always constantly looking for pullbacks, especially on an overextended stock. We definitely are overextended. Now I ask myself a question. Where did this trend line come from? I'm just curious. Where did I get this trend line up? How did I draw this in? So I'm going to look at the yearly. I see I was just drawing it in here. Just trying to be consistent with the pullback maybe on a day. Let's see what this does on 20 day. No, I can't get it on 20 day. Yeah, I think I was just charting that in. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to erase them all. We're going to start off on the year. I mean, this is a beautiful run. At the news, it got, oh, was it? I can't remember. Roku, they had Roku news a while back. It was really a big boost to the stock, I thought, personally. Mayor of Leonard announced business to reopen outdoors soon, blah, blah. I always want to look at the news, 52-week highs. Can't spin, 50 has been hot. It can spin even higher, one analyst says. Catalyst, and then I use price targets. Some idiot in here has got a price target to 96 bucks. Now, this is the way I'm looking at things. When I look at Piton, I want to be in the now. So I know that Corona, people are going to be less calibrated to go out and go to exercise facilities. So this house booming sector we're in right now, people are asking for two things, actually three things, to add on to their house. They want an office, which they've been asking for a while. They want an exercise room. They've been wanting to add exercise rooms. Number three is they want a babysitter room. They want a place where the babysitter can come and babysit the room. Because people are going to be staying home more, and a lot of executives will get on the treadmill and run the treadmill. Another good thing about Piton is they're going to build a treadmill for more of the middle class society. These treadmills aren't cheap. They're not cheap at all. So there's three catalysts why I'm in the now on Piton. I'm always constantly looking at the news. So I'm still bullish on this. We are going to go higher. We have a 90. We're going to go with that analyst that said 96 bucks for a catalyst for long. But always consider the pullbacks. Now we've been constantly pulling back to this 34 EMA, as you can see on the yearly chart. So I'd rather use that 34 EMA as a reference tool for a support level on a yearly, daily chart, because I'm seeing consistency. You see what I'm saying? I'm seeing consistency. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Right there. Right there. Right there. You know, we're getting consistent. So I'm going to use that for a solid third support line if it comes down and pulls back to that area. Now I always look, when I look at a stock that's overextended or at a 52-week high, I'm constantly thinking, okay, where's a support level where I can get into this trade because I'm bullish on it. 52-week high telling me that the stock's bullish. I mean, it's telling me that it might have broke a triple top. It's telling me that it might have broke a double top. It's telling me that it might have broken an ascending triangle. It's telling me all kinds of things. So constantly being in the now. And I got one more support level right here. You see that candle right there? I'm going to draw that in there. And then we've got this 77.30.46 area. But I ain't going to draw that in. Let's go ahead and go to the 20-day now. See if I missed anything here on the 20-day. Got one little place right here that'd probably be good to draw in. Over here at that top we had here. Add some more consistency right in here. Yeah, right there. Where we had these candles right in here. These are this extended trend line method. I'm going to use this wick as a support level because we did pull back to that wick. We're going to go to the daily 1 minute. Resistance level right up here. And right there. Support level right there. Okay. So I got a solid support right here at 75.25. I don't want to go no lower than that. That's going to be a strong buy. Why? Because we're consistent down here. We're very consistent. I want to see it hold that. We did have a real big breakout on this. Real fast and huge. So it consolidated. And once it had that, you know, people got stuck in it and it pulled back to that support level. So we're going to make this a real strong area of support. I don't know if I'd go in real big there, but I'd definitely start looking for a reversal and create a channel. If we don't create a channel, we're going to pull back some. It could be, you know, in this lower area, right down in here, where we had this consolidated area. And I want to draw that in. First support, 75.25 for an entry. I think we'll rebound and hit this resistance level of 77. And if we got to break resistance, it's going to be that 77.46, and then we'll move up higher, and we'll take it in 50-cent intervals, be 77.50, 78, all the way to 96 long. Second support's going to be right here, this 38 retracement, which is 74.85, and then a strong buy at 73.70 to 74.04. That's Piton. I hope that helped you out, big techs. I'm bullish on Piton, but we've got to play the pullbacks. We were overextended on Friday, you can see, and we consolidated. I mean, that's pretty. And what's next? Triangles, right. I'm glad to see you too, Mike. Hey, David Caps made it. Jim, do you mind checking out KRRKINC, Piton? Hey, Jim, the auto fib levels to show up. Jim, how do you get the auto fib? Well, it's a I'll tell you what I'll do if I can. I'll put the link. It's a custom made chart, but I'll share the link and see if we can do it right now. Where are you, baby? I'm doing you all a favor. If anybody's got Ameritrade, let's down there in the comments section, see if that works for your script. So I put the chart that I'm using in the comments section. Okay, Jim, how do you get the Fibonacci? So, gamer, if you're still in here, go down to the comments section, hit that like button. You got that automatic Fibonacci set up for you. All right, Jim, thanks for doing this. Thank you, Mr. Direct Volatility. Glad you're doing well. Mike, I hope you're doing well too. Do you prefer the EMAs or the SMAs? I traded the SMA for many years, and I had a friend in our room, Tony, I don't know if you know him or not, but he kind of convinced, I've learned from everybody. And one day he's, why don't you use them EMAs? I said, I never really thought about it because I was so accustomed to using the SMAs, and they worked for me. And I prefer the EMAs on different time frames. I rely on them basically on the daily 1 minute. So, I've got accustomed to using the EMAs on a daily 1 minute. And I like using the SMA on a yearly daily because it tells me if we're having golden crosses or if we touch back to the 50 or to the 200 SMA. So I like using them on a yearly daily, and I like using the EMAs on a daily 1 minute. Those are basically the two charts that I use the EMAs on when I'm looking to get into a trade or looking to get out. But I always look at them too on the 20, and it depends, You can be reliable on using them on the 20-day, 1 hour, and find trades that work that way for you. So interesting about this, there are so many ways you can develop a pattern, a strategy. Is once you develop a strategy and it's consistent with you, stick with that strategy. I have a lot of different strategies because I've been at it for such a long period of time. But I fine tune them. It's like when we had the Corona crash. I was looking for supports on back to 20 years, trying to find consistency. And that was just a few months ago, 6 months ago, because we were crashing. And I was, trying to find supports. And I just use a year. But if we break that yearly resistance, I'll go back 3 years. 3 years on a weekly chart. So yeah, I like the EMAs on a 1 hour daily and the SMAs on a yearly day. I like the EMAs on a daily 1 minute and the SMAs on a yearly daily. Okay, which one do you want me to look at, Mr. Volatility? Get one at a time. I'm going to look at CCL. Well, I'll tell you just the way I feel about CCL. I think we're getting close to the period where we're going to start bouncing up, but we're still in a very volatile period. They're not going to be running ships, I don't think, until next year. And we are going to be at resistance levels, I think, at this high. No, we can move up a little higher. So let's look at CCL. Add it to my watch. I think I skipped a couple here. And we have a lot of smart traders in the room, so if you want to come in and try it out for a week, sign up on our website. And we don't allow pumping, or we got to have a reason why we get into trades. And we're more or less been doing a lot of options lately. Okay. So I'm semi-bullish on the cruise line compared to the airlines, but I do believe we've had higher lows, and we're starting to get into a pattern now where we're going to start breaking a resistance, and that's 1746. And we've got a lower support right down here at 1445. And we got a little pivot point in this channel right in here, right around the, well, it's hard to say, it could be very 1624. You know, I could have brought this up a little bit. Let me see something here. Yeah, I'll take this off. Right there. Then I got to find one more. There we go, right there. So I'm trying to look for bodies, places that have consolidated. Sometimes you have to have a little equilibrium when you're in these, and maybe not use the bodies of the candles as much, and compromise with a few wicks, but that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and go to the 20-day. Oh, we're definitely going to go back up to 24 long. Let me do this here first. See how that runs right into that 200? This is the EMA. We had this dip right here, and then we had tried to have that breakout there, and then, you know, we had this pullback here. So we did have a breakout after Corona at one time, and we're starting to elevate with higher lows again to break resistance level. So I think we are definitely going to go back up a little higher. And I'm going to tell you where I think hard resistance is going to be. It's going to be right here. 1931. That's going to be a hard spot to break. So let's look at the 20-day now. Let's draw one more line in here. Go to the 20-day. Beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I'll tell you why. And we've had these higher lows. It's consistent. I'm going to extend this right out. I just went from this one to this one right here on a 20-day chart, and I'm trying to find a real strong support. Look at that. Look how it run right into that one. Look how it run right into that. Consistent. This is a new thing that I've really started to pick up and I'm really starting to enjoy. is finding, excuse me, looking for that pullback and then trying to find an extension, and they always pull back to that extension line many a times. And then we've had, you know, less corona cases, and I think we're starting to get out of that phase where things are starting to bounce a little bit stronger. So I want to draw one more trend line right here to right here. I'm going to extend that on out because I think we're really bullish on this thing. Solid support is going to be right down here. I need to change this up. See, we had this previous high right over here on the 20-day. I'm going to color that in. This is CCL. And I know a lot of people that are long on this, and you got in at a good deal down here if you were long on it. There is some kind of consolidation in here, but I got to look for a little equilibrium in here, and I'm going to put it right there. And again, looking at bodies and bases of candles, trying to figure out, you know, here we've had 3 consistent hours of support level, and we rejected it twice here. Then finally we broke out of that rejection, and bam, you know, we're up higher. So we got a resistance to break at 1740 something. Let me look at the 20-day one more time. Strong buy in the support channel of 1648 to 1660. Second support, right here at 1680, and the first one's going to be at 1697, 17 bucks. So third one's going to be the lower channel of 1648 to 1660. Strong buy down here if we touch this trend line at 1588. But I want to see it hold this channel right in here. We had that double top, then triple top breakout. So that's a real strong support right in here. So 1648, 1660, 1680, and then 1697 with a resistance to break of 1846, and then long. You know, we got resistance at 2122. We break 20. If we get past those resistance levels and break 20 bucks, we'll get back to this triple top, and then probably pull back to a channel. That's going to be CCL. Hard resistance at this level right here at 1940. Look for a little pullback maybe, and then a bounce to break resistance. And that was CCL. If you have time, TOOP. Then I'm going to write down CCL and Baidu and BBB. And we're going to wrap it up. We got 10 more minutes. So we're going to be doing TUP. Okay, I got 2019 trend lines on here. We definitely broke out of that area, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe these all out. They don't mean nothing to me right now. Let me look at the news. Actions upgrades Tupperware brand to hold from a buy. Tupperware is reaching 52-week highs again. City cuts Tupperware brand price target to 15 from 17. Maintains neutral on Tupperware brands from lower price to 15 bucks. Okay. I'm going to look at a 3-year chart. TUP. Yeah, so 3 years telling me this is way undervalued. Go to 1 year. Oh wow, earnings were excellent. Is that a positive? Yeah, earnings were real good. Look at what happened on earnings. It's created a new channel. This is kind of interesting. You got a cup and handle pattern forming. See, you got a little cup. It's going to form a handle. Once it hits 16, 17, pull back a little bit and then break that resistance. And I think the pullback's going to be right here around 1533. That's what I think. I see consistency on that 1533. So let's get the 20-day real fast. See, we've created a little channel in here. Strong support at that 1357. And we'll draw one more trend line in here. I'm going to draw a couple. Right there. So wow, this is pretty neat chart. We have an ascending triangle here in the last 2 days. Likes bouncing off that 200 EMA. 1387. This thing can run up to this next resistance level up here at 1389. We got a top to break right here. Yeah, this looks to me like it's setting to break out. I want to turn this into a red line or blue line. We'll make it red. No, we'll make it blue. That way I know it's a resistance level on that ascending triangle. So I know that this is a real solid resistance to break, and we can bring it up to this 1532. Now, if that 1532 breaks, we'll get up here $16. But we're setting up right now for a breakout. Ascending triangle. Let's see if I missed anything on the 1 minute. Yep, always do. Right there. Okay, this is the way I look at this. I think we're getting ready to break. But if we do have a pullback, it'll be to this 200 EMA, which is consistent with this ascending triangle. You see, they pop up all the time. They pop up all the time. When you see patterns, it's either going to be a bearish or a bullish pattern. Now, when you see inconsistency like this, you don't want to jump into a trade. You want to wait until you start to see a pattern. You see the pattern right here? It's another ascending triangle. Once it consolidated and it started to show a pattern. Once that pattern started telling itself, we've got us a little resistance, a little ascending triangle right here. And look where it pulled back to. It almost pulled back to the top of that ascending triangle. And then it started bouncing off the 200. So this is, and then we got another ascending triangle right here. It's telling you it's been bullish all day long. In fact, I want to take this trend line. This is going to be level 9. See, where am I extending here? We go level 9. Number 9. Number 9. Can anybody tell me what that album was on? Number 9. Where are you? Okay. Oh, gosh, I hate this. There we are, okay. So that's not where I wanted it, but that's okay. It'll extend on out. Okay, yeah, we'll just leave it like it is. I'm going to bring this line and extend it on out to the right. Because that's where, if it fails this support at 1472, it'll drop down to this other trend line down here at 1446. But I see it breaking out. I see it breaking out to the upper highs. But it could pull back to this support, and that's going to be a very strong buy at 1472. And we'll go to the 20-day one more time. Resistance to break, 1493, up to this level here at 1532. And if we can bust past that, we'll definitely get it back up here to the $16 area. But we've created a channel, and I think it's starting to break out here at the end of it. We've done that a few times. You can see it pulled back. But we're at a higher high here on the base of the candles, and I think it will go higher. That's TUP. Well, I think that will do it. Oh man, I got so many other people in here. Let me see what else we got. Well, let's do Roku. Are we having fun? Roku's one of my favorite trades. We're definitely broke past resistance. Let's see what the yearly says. Called this out in the room at the bottom. Had this little triangle right here. I started seeing all this congestion. Let me see what I did on the 20-day here. Yeah, this was a channel of support. And I was wanting to see the resistance to break at 151.81. It did break it, and it pulled right back to it. And then it went ahead and had the three white soldiers and kind of consolidated. And then again, we had another breakout on last Friday. Support level 167.33 for a strong buy, 170.34 for your first support. Now we can get back into this channel, but I want to see it hold the 167.33. Why? Triple top, 1, 2, and tree. So I think that can pull back to that support level on Roku at 167.33. We're overextended on this trade right now, but we're also very bullish on it. I think they had an upgrade to 175. Looks like we hit it. That's what I called in a way. 180. Yeah. Let's look for a pullback. Let's try to get in at 167.33. The reason I say that is I always say look at the previous highs after a breakout. Always look for the previous highs after a breakout and call that a support level. $167.33 for a strong buy, $170.34 for your first support. Resistance to break is going to be $174.98. Take it to the target price of $180. If we break $174.98, and we almost made it to $180 up here, so let's draw this trend line in here on the 20-day high at $178.65. That would be a good little place. If it's not breaking that, take your profit. But if it pulls back, 167.33 will be your strong buy. And that's Roku. Let me see. ROKU. And let me see, well, what's next? Okay, got Roku, please. I hope that helped you, Zion. Talk about one, curious what you think about BB. Time. You're going to keep me busy. Oh, BB. BlackBerry. I've never really been bullish on BlackBerry. So I play it as a bearish idea. Why? Because they didn't catch up with times. We're all digital now. We did hit the 200, and I think that'll cause a little resistance level, and look for a pullback. Support level on this one's going to be right at 461. Maybe a little lower. Well, kind of like this level right here too. I'm looking at this place right in here. I'm not looking at the wick. I'm looking at the body. In fact, I'm going to erase all this crap up here. I want to read why BlackBerry's bounced up so much. Convertible debt, several technology trading higher earnings, Salesforce, that's another one. Salesforce is going a lot higher. Yeah, I'm not too bullish on. It's definitely a pullback play for me. BlackBerry. 484. I want to get this area ready here. I talked about it earlier. I'd buy it on support. And one lower one right down here. Resistance to break is going to be consistent. We're going to have that 506 for another support level. Right there, 504. We got the 200 that we need to break. We break past the 200, 531, and then maybe start to double top. Look, that right there. With the double top at 578. So let's look at the 20-day right now. Little spot right in here. Support. Right here at support. We're going to pull back there. And right there. Another one right here. Okay, now I'm looking at it. 20-day chart is going to tell me how I want to trade this trade. See it pull back to this area right here at 508 for your probably your second support. Your first one's going to be right here at 515. And then a strong buy down here at 5, well, yeah, definitely here at 495. It's going to be a strong buy. I want to keep it out of this channel that we had down here. So I want to find a support level at 494 and a break of resistance up at 531. So I'm going to play it as I'm looking at it as a bear opportunity, and I'll play the dips. See, we had three white soldiers right here. Look what happened. They kind of consolidated. After we had them three big white soldiers, it consolidated and pulled back. So that'd have been a pretty easy trade to call right there. I'd have definitely looked at that one. So I think it could pull back again to this lower support level between 494 and $5. And that's going to be BB. Grammar. Gamer. Got to be charged. Let's look at Snap. There's so many good. Now we're in a bullish market right now. Don't let nobody tell you any different. A lot of we're in an experimented period. A lot of these fat cats have not ever been in this place before. Oh, I put Shep on there. So then they don't know. They still think we're in a bearish market. They don't realize that when we got into into the corona, we were at all-time highs. Unemployment was at all-time lows. So the market is still very bullish. You got to have faith in America. If you have faith in America, you can do anything you want. You can be anything you want. It don't matter what gender you are or what race you are. And I'm not here to preach. But I'm just saying. So let's look at Snap. I'm just saying the next 5 years are going to be very, very cool years. And you need to be on your sharpest point. We have a triple top breakout on Snap at 22.36. We had an unusual pullback here. And look how she bounced right back up. I mean, she bounced up to the triple top. So what we got to look at is an equilibrium for support to keep these higher gains going on the last part of this week. And we're going to draw a little trend line. And I'm not going to use the wicks this time. Well, man, I'm telling you what. We had a couple times where we were oversold. I'm just going to go from here on up to here. I think this was just overdone. I'm going to extend it on out to the right. Runs right into the support channel of 2178. Third support, 2178. If the triple top does not break, 2236, we'll have a pullback. First support, 2217, 22, and then strong buy down here at the 2178 area. Strong buy. I'm going to rely on this trend line. This is snap. Chart patterns, learn them. Learn chart patterns, learn candlesticks, learn to be in the now, learn to know what's going on in the news. Have a reason to get into a trade. Citigroup lifts snap price target to 19 from 14. We got a price target to 75 from 21. Walmart is another good one you need to be watching right now with Microsoft. So resistance breaks the triple top at 22.36 and a strong buy at 21.78. Snap. Starbucks. Okay, people are going to start buying coffee more. Earnings are getting better. You see what happened after the good earnings report? We started popping up. Now we have new highs. So let's erase this mumble jumble and see what happened on the year. They are reopening them, and people got to have their lattes. I don't drink Starbucks. I won't buy the crap. I buy good coffee. So I'm looking for a double top. We found one. We broke the resistance level Friday. Okay? So we're definitely going to build up and go a little higher. Now on a year we only went up to $98. We're at 85 right now. Next resistance level is going to be right in here where we had that little gap. Now what's going on here? Oh, I won't do it because of that, so I'll just guess it right there. It's going to be a hard resistance. 87.35. You got one spot right in here. At 85, look at where it ended up right there. See, I'm just going off places of congestion. I wonder why it's not. Oh, okay. Draw another trend line in here at support. I did it again. See how I touched that 200 right there? But I should have probably, well, I'm going to leave it right where it is. Let's see what I missed here. Yeah, I like that. So we're definitely bullish on Starbucks. We're getting to the bullish department. We're starting to feel that people are going to start drinking their coffees again. Let's go to the 20-day. Support level right there. Oh, lovely little channel of support. You see this? 3 days of support level. That's very, very, very solid. But solid. Okay. We have an ascending triangle right here. Higher lows, consistent with the horizontal line. That's going to be a solid support level. To the right. No, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Right there. So we've got a support channel down here. Starbucks will pull back a little bit. We got 3 supports with a strong buy down in this support channel. The first support, 84.53. Second one at 83.96. The top of the horizontal line on the ascending triangle, which is a strong buy, third support at 83.54. And an oversold support channel between 82.17 and 85.92. Resistance to break. If we decide to break this resistance level at 85.05, We can run it up right there to 86.11. Damn, Jim. 86.11. I'll find it again. I'll never find it. A little bit more. There you go. 86.11 with 87.35, and we can get back up to these tops. We're in a bullish market. I think we got a hard resistance right around 89.12. There we go again. Started getting in there. Ah! See here all day, dude. I'm going to put 21 in there. But I meant 89.12. Might have just said on a smaller case. Okay. Solid buy at 82.17 to 82.85. I see a real strong support channel here. I see a horizontal line on ascending triangle at 83.54. Second support, 83.96, 84.53, with a resistance of 86.10, 86 something, and maybe another pullback from there. I want to see this keep going up. We've been in a solid trend, and I want it to hold. But we're overextended, and it can pull back a little bit. You know how Starbucks is. Yeah, that ain't going to do no good. We're definitely on an upward trajectory. Okay. We got Starbucks. We got, oh, what's this here? In LZYQVV in a stock room. What are you talking about, Michael? Let me see here. We got Baidu, Roku, Snap. I love you in Vegas. Great match. I wish she thought that. How to identify pocket pivots. How to identify a pocket pivot. You want to look for a consistency of maybe a 10-day dip. But let me see here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to use someone else's example. Give me just 1 second here. What you want to kind of look for in a pocket pivot, and I talk about this, when we see a reversal of 10 days to 20 days or more, and you start to see another little candle break out with a higher close for the last candle, and then you'll start to see a pocket pivot create, and that's more or less like a J hook. And then you start finding resistance levels from that. You'll see a volume increase. And just pocket pivots, I always like to look at them as kind of like a J hook when they go down and then they start to curl up like that. So there's many illustrations of charts. You can Google pocket pivot and hit some of these charts on here and just kind of get people have different ideas of how they are. But I identify them pretty much on an engulfing candle, especially on a pullback that we've had a consistent pullback for 10 days. Then all of a sudden you have this one big engulfing candle that goes down. And then to me, that's the beginning of a pocket pivot when I'm looking at them. And then I just start playing them off the bases of the candle all the way back up to the previous highs. But that's kind of how I look at them. Oh, I can't do that yet. Okay. Been having a hard time understanding pocket pivots too. That's exactly right. Thank you for that explanation, HAJJ. That's all right. Stella's gone now. She's getting bits and pieces took out of her and getting junked. Or they might rebuild it, who knows. Nice. Okay, it is nice payday this week and in the coming weeks. Oh yeah. Ready for the next week. Bind. Oh, what did we miss up here? I loaded the boat on Starbucks. Okay, well, I think you'll be okay. You're getting to resistance levels. So keep an eye on it from here on out. We might pull back a little bit and then bounce back up, create a higher high. Bind, bullish on bind. Caught a great call on bind last week. I was down here and I've been watching bind for a long time, and there's a lot of bears that don't believe in this company. Corona was a good catalyst for this thing to bounce back up. So I created a support level. I talked about it Friday at 129.15. But let's look at the yearly. Just see one thing here. Yeah, see, we pulled back, and we're about ready to break back out again. But I think the Corona plays are going to start to wear out a little bit, just a little bit. And I think that's what happened with Bind. The earnings were not as good as they anticipated last time around. We actually were down, but we did have a nice little bounce off that. I think they already anticipated the earnings report or something. And then we had a great bounce back to resistance at 142.17. So that's our hard resistance. It's hard because we couldn't break it a couple of times. Now maybe if we break it this time, we'll break up into these newer highs. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to be in a channel for a long time. And that channel is going to be between 121, 122 to 130, 132. And then a resistance level at 142, and that's where you want to take profit. Take the buy if it's down in the low 120s. Consider yourself at a pivot point at 131, 132, and anything beyond that will be a gift. And that's going to be bind. Next one we're going to talk about Can you please chart Shell? Yes. $37.99. Forces in diction demonstrate hybrids, 8 vehicles, so they're in definitely deals are coming up with Barron's, starting transportation, blah blah. That's how I read. So I'm going to clear this up. I'm going to start fresh. As you can see, she's had a heck of a run since the EV breakout. So we're going to call this support area right here a strong buy, 31.70. I always say go back to the previous high and draw you a support line. Look what happened here. See? See what happened? Then we're going to do one on the wick. Then we'll draw a support level right here at the 130. We've had lower highs, so this could pull back to this support level at 31.80, or it can hold here at 34.64. Let's go to the 20-day. Got another support line right down here. Yeah, ascending triangle right here. So that's going to be a real solid support. Look at them chart patterns. When you're analyzing the chart, look for chart patterns. They really create a lot of support and resistances after a breakout. Now you've got another ascending triangle right here. Look what happened. Started to squeeze. See that? Then bam. So we've got a resistance level right here. Right there. Okay, strong buy at 31.80. Second support at 34.67. And that first one right here at 37.02, and I think we can bounce back off that, but I don't know. We've had lower highs here, so I think a pullback is due no lower than 31.80. That would be a good entry for an idea to get in. And I'm going to create an alert. And I'm going to, what did I say, 80. Yeah, I'm going to put a strong buy alert at 31.80, back up to resistance level of 41.63, but we might go ahead and just scalp it in these areas right in here at 37.02, and if we can get back up in here, that's fine. But right now we're creating a little channel. So strong buy if it pulls back, 31.80. Shell, S-H-L-L. Okay, Shell, and we're going to do these last two, and then I'm going to call it quits. PFE. We're definitely pulled back to support level. Got it already charted up. I don't know when these came back, so let me look and see where I charted this thing out. How long ago? Yeah, I could have charted this thing back here. We've got to find an equilibrium right in here. There we go. I added that support line. So yeah, this is before. This is probably last year, because I didn't start using these I mean this year, maybe about 4 months ago. I didn't start using these dotted lines until about 3 months ago. Barron's like Salesforce, Starbucks, and McDonald's. Pfizer candidate, vaccine candidate required ultra low temperatures. Storage, the big. You know, I'm semi bullish on this, but I think we've pulled back far enough to where we can get back into the channel. Strong buy at 37.74. Well, no, we're going to draw one more down here for double bottom. Double bottom at 37.49 with a retracement bounce back up to break resistance at 37.95 with a hard resistance to break right in here at 38.55, and if we get past that, we'll get back up here to these double tops and then pull back down again. We definitely had a 5-day. Here's your little pivot pocket. See the volume increase? You see the pullback? There's what you call a pocket. That's a pocket pivot right there. You see that? You started getting the volume increase. You started getting the higher lows right there. Beautiful, beautiful. We had the lower high right here, which is indicating maybe we were going to pull back. Now, if this was consistent and was up here to the top, we could have had a small pullback and a triple top. Instead, we had a lower high. We had a 5-day sell-off. And there's 5-day rule with a pocket pivot right there with the volume increase. We're coming out of a TTM squeeze. You see what happened here on the TTM? We ran up. So we start to show some blue up here, some buying power. We're getting ready to break up. We're getting ready to break out. This is also an inverse head and shoulders. If you're not familiar with an inverse head and shoulders, look it up. They're great reversal plays. We got the neckline that needs to break. That neckline is right here at 37.95. Actually, it could be a little bit higher, 38. Yeah, 38's a lot better. 38 neckline right there. So if we go past that, we're going to go back up, and we're going to have hard resistance right here at 38.55. So keep that in mind. If it starts to pull back a little bit from that 38.55, play it back at support again. If it breaks at 38.55, we'll get up here to these two higher highs. And, you know, you can find something in between here too, right about in there, 37.71. So yeah, we've had a pocket pivot. We've got an inverse head and shoulders, and the TTM is starting to squeeze. So you could have a retracement bounce back up to the higher levels of a resistance to break at 38.55. Okay. Well, that is it for today. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I extended it for an extra half hour. Please subscribe. Hit that like button if you liked it. You know, hit that dislike if you hated it. Always ring that bell for future updates. And I'm going to try to do this every other week. And I just wish everybody a happy next trading week. And always remember, wear that mask when you're out in public. And I'll catch you all later. And thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. And I love stocks.